Outer space.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait.
Is that
to
where
be
we're
in outer
going?
space.
I don't.
I have heard that
This
space is the place.
might not be the space that you want to be in, but who knows?
I'm in space.
I mean, it's a
Is it a?
pretty cool looking space station.
It
And
is a
there's
cyberspace.
like a sexy robot lady is there waiting for us. So you
There's
never know.
sexy robot lady.
Things could turn out well. We just don't know. Hi, this is On the Stick After Dark. I'm Eric Allen. I'm here with Joe Drilling.
I'm Joe Drilling,
Mike
and I'm
Els,
here
and
with
Kurt Allen.
Shodan.
I'm not letting you steal this from me, Joe. Mike Els.
Too late.
I'm feeling very optimistic about our chances with the computer lady.
Yeah. What do you think, Kurt?
No computer ladies have ever been murderous, ever.
That's true.
And so it will be fine.
Everything will be fine. Okay.
It will
So
be
we're
fine.
playing System Shock 1. I
this
thought we were
is-
playing System Shock 2.
This is a remake of System Shock 1. Not to be confused with the System Shock remaster that came out like 6 or 7 years ago. I've actually never played the original System Shock.
Me neither.
Even by the time I got into PC gaming, like in 2002, and when I was at my peak of like exploring the past of PC games from like 2002 to 2006 or so, even at that point, people were like, you should probably just skip the first one and just play the second one.
It was real rough.
Yeah.
To go back to that game. And I say this as someone who played a lot of System Shock 2. I could never get myself to actually spend real time with the first one.
But I'm hearing pretty positive things about this. So
Yeah,
I
it
don't know. I figured
seems like everybody really likes it that's played it so far. I don't know why I thought it was a remake of the second one, though, and not the
I think
first one.
somebody is remaking the second one. Maybe.
Or did they just do a remaster of the
They
second
did do a
one as
remaster of
well?
the second one more recently, I think.
Very-
Or maybe
like
there was
earlier this year.
I thought there was a remake of the first one, or a remaster of the first one. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
There's
was
a remaster. I think there's a remaster of both. I guess I'm not sure. But this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is Night Dive's first like actual remake, right? Like they're generally
so,
they do
yeah.
like modern ports of,
Yeah.
and I've heard that they're one of the, when it comes to I guess 3D games, they're kind of the equivalent of your M2s and your Digital Eclipses. They're like from Power Slave to Doom 64 to Turok, like.
Yeah.
They're like pretty widely praised for doing all of that stuff.
It was
and
these
making
guys,
it-
in fact, that did the System Shock 2 remaster. in
Remaster.
2013. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So,
yeah,
but this
and
is
they
their
did
first.
like a bunch of those old adventure games too, right? Didn't they?
Oh yeah. I
They
think that
did
was
like
also
Seventh
them, yes.
Guest and I don't know some of the other. I can't think of what else, but
Because everybody really wants to revisit the Seventh Guest.
I mean, that
Fucking-
game is kind of important in a way, you know?
I mean, it is, but it's not. It's not good.
How dare you? I mean,
You
it's
don't
just
like doing like sliding tile puzzles and
right.
stuff?
It's literally just a puzzle book set in a spooky mansion.
Yeah. The atmosphere is good. I mean, I do remember. Look, I mean, I remember my cousin had it on his Mac when I was in whatever elementary school, and he was probably in junior high, and I remember being very impressed by it. So.
Okay, so the first thing about
Yeah.
this game is that it has all these difficulty options.
Wait, you have 10 hours on mission 3?
Well, that's like the hardest setting. You have 10 hours to finish the game, and you die permanently if you don't turn on the restoration bay.
No, yes, they did Seventh Guest and 11th Hour.
Okay.
Oh, and they're the ones who did the Blade Runner
yeah.
remaster. And I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. So they've been doing a bunch
The Blade
of.
Runner one was pretty darn good. I actually played that.
I haven't played the remaster, the enhanced edition yet, but I keep meaning to pick that up. And the Blood remake, or not remake,
It was
but
good because the first
Well,
time I
first one.
played Blade Runner was like a fan hack of it that got it working on like Windows 7, I think. I don't even know if that still works nowadays, but I guess I'll just leave it on the defaults, although I've heard it can be pretty... Puzzle 3, you will be perplexed. Get ready to think. Puzzles are not a problem. I should probably put it on 1 given my state of my brain these days, but
Prepare for perplexion.
I don't want to think. If you die in the Cyber 3, if you die in the game, you die in real life. Very good. All right. We'll
What was
put it
that?
on the defaults. What's up, Joe?
It'll probably be a
What
step
was that
challenge.
game? What was that game that deleted your files when you played it? like actually deleted the files off your computer.
You
guys
talking about
remember what I'm
the-
talking
The one,
about?
the one like you only live once or whatever that is, or
That
Might have been
what's
called
that guy's name? Jason.
Was that a
Roar?
was it a
Is
Jason
it?
Roar
I think so, yeah.
joint?
I mean, there is more than one game that would do that kind of thing.
That was
Not that
Hideo
I would be able to tell you what they are at the moment, but I'm aware that it.
Yeah,
Lose.
Kojima always talked about wanting to do that. I don't know if he ever actually did. But
yeah, I remember that platformer that was like you start playing and the first time you fall down a hole and die, that's the end of your game.
Great. Ryan Swayze says, "What's up on the stick? What's up is Cyberpunk
Shodan is up.
Stuff." Yeah.
So this was one of the sort of OG immersive sims, right? That's what we call these.
It is
That is
the,
what
I believe.
that is what we call them nowadays. Yes.
Is it the? I thought Thief was the. I never remember which one came out when. I guess.
Let me look here.
yeah, somebody should check.
System Shock is 1994.
Because Thief and Thief 2 have a similar relationship to System Shock and System Shock 2 in that if
The second one is considered
you
much
should just,
better.
Just play the second one. Yeah.
Thief is 1998, so this is 4 years before Thief.
Yeah.
Wow. This game came out in '94.
System Shock is really old.
Wow. Okay.
I
That's-
mean, yeah, it's a rough game
Yeah,
in
'cause
many ways.
What year was System Shock 2? That was like 98 or 99 or something, right? 97 maybe. It was before Deus Ex.
Yeah, it was definitely before Deus Ex.
Well, no, because that's what I was just trying to think. I don't know. I can't remember dates. Look at this cool CD player.
Because Deus Ex got a port to the PlayStation 2. So
yeah, but that was several years after it came
Deus
out.
Ex was a 2000 game, if I'm reading this correctly.
Yeah.
I got the PS2 port of Deus Ex, and it convinced me to never play Deus Ex.
That's also how I experienced the original Deus Ex, and I was like, I don't get the hype. I don't understand the hype.
I'm honestly really sad that I did not grab Deus
basically-
Ex when it was kind of newer, because I bet I would have loved it if I had played it when it was like in 2000. It was exactly right up my alley for that time.
I played it on PlayStation 2 the first time as well, but I liked it. And then eventually there was
too.
a demo disc that came out on PC Gamer that had full versions of Thief 2 and Deus Ex in like 2003 or 4 or something. And that was how I played both of those games. And at that time, I still thought those games were pretty brilliant. But obviously, we've come a long way since that, which was 5 years after those games came out, and they were kind of like classics and old at that time, and then that was 20 years ago. So, anyways, this looks pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good.
So, from what I've read about this remake, it obviously modernizes a bunch of elements of this game, but still makes it feel like an old game in some interesting ways.
I mean, I feel like games have kind of come all the way back around to like it's okay for games to be obtuse again. Like the Souls games kind of made
Yeah.
it like it's all right for games to be kind of obtuse in a way that it
Mhm.
wasn't for about 15 years. Like where people
funny
weren't
'cause
really
as someone-
accepting of that.
You know, I grew up on old PC games, which were obtuse as hell, and then like Nintendo games, right? NES games were also really,
Right.
really hard to figure out and inscrutable in some cases. So I really welcome that era. I think Prince of Persia: Sands of Time was the first game that I played that I was just like, oh, they're really guiding me through, and it's nice. Like I love this. And then games were like that for I don't know the next 10 years,
Yeah,
and
that game still gave you a little bit of room to explore. It kind of got worse and worse as time went on.
yeah, that was just the first game that I remember having. Like the tutorial was built into the first 3 minutes of the game. Like you run up to a wall and then like press this button to wall run up this wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Because before that era, if you wanted to learn how a game played, you opened the manual.
Right. And sometimes the manual didn't even like there's shit in like Super Metroid, the manual doesn't explain how to shine spark. Right?
No,
You have
well,
to like
that's part of what's so cool about that game, though.
well, sure. But, that's sort of what I'm saying. Like in that era that was okay. That was what 2 years before this game came out. Right? Or 1 or 2 years before this game.
Metroid, no, it's I think it's the same year. Isn't Super Metroid 1994 also?
No, I thought it was 93,
Oh,
92 or
maybe you're right.
93. It was earlier than the Super Nintendo. lifespan than that, but I could be wrong.
No, it's 94.
Wow. Okay. Oh, it was that close to the PlayStation and Saturn, huh? But
Well,
of course,
moving al-
time moves slower when you're a child.
Good
right?
news.
So, like,
You can flush the toilet.
Excellent. I'm actually like his like small shitty cyberpunk apartment I'm not jealous of, but the fact that his bathroom is just a wet room I am kind of jealous of.
You know, Joe, it's pretty easy to make any room a wet room.
Not if you want to preserve any of the things in the room. Like we've been talking. I mean, we're kind of
You guys want
casually
some
house
cosmic
shopping.
corn?
Of course.
Some bacon crackoos? Blast
These textures are
bars?
pretty low res, right? That's an intentional thing
I-
and not a streaming artifact.
I believe I have the settings turned up as high as I can make them. So, I think so. Yeah, it's on.
You might need a little more machine to run this remake.
Yeah.
High specs, you know.
I should have got the 4090. That's what I've been saying. It's a better deal. Perkmaster. I'm not really sure what I guess I'm supposed to be logging into this computer here. Whoa. I have hands.
Do you have cyber hands or just cool gloves?
But I have arms and gloves. I'm assuming there are hands in there someplace.
I think they're
And a
just
punk
cool
rock
gloves.
drinking bird.
I think they're just.
Punk rock bird.
You look so fine.
Yeah, stick that into your brain. That's a great idea.
Oh no.
Ryan Swayze wants to know what video game any of us would like to see adapted into a film, and I'm going to say that I feel like every one of those experiments has been of varying degrees of bad. So I think we should just like maybe not.
People seem
I
to
don't
like
know.
that Last of Us TV show, so
That's true. That's true. And the Castlevania anime was good, which was like a direct adaptation of Castlevania 3, which was pretty weird. That was where they chose to go with that, but
That is weird.
yeah. But I don't know. It's hard for me to think of like a good like a game story that's good enough that I would want to just like take in the narrative without playing the game, and I have trouble thinking of an example of that.
I bet you that
The
Killer
Last
7,
of Us is
Killer
actually
7 would make a better movie than video game.
Sure.
Maybe,
That's
yeah.
maybe.
I mean, I mean, we just see. I guess we didn't talk about it on stream, but we talked about it the other night when you and Alex and I were hanging out, Joe. But we had all just kind of like recently watched that Dungeons and Dragons movie,
Yeah.
and that was good.
The
That's
new
a good
one?
movie.
Yeah, the new one's quite good. It's a lot of
I've heard
gelatinous
nothing but
cube
good
stuff
things.
going on, which was really fun. I don't know. It was a fun, but it was just like
It's a very good Speak with Dead bit.
somebody could definitely take a video game property and turn it into an interesting movie. It's just generally
but the
speaking, the people that take those projects on are just people that don't make good movies. You know, I mean, it kind of doesn't like you give Uwe Boll anything.
I was about to
And
say
it's
something
gonna
about
suck.
Serious Sam,
Right.
and yeah,
You give.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably
he
a
didn't
good
make
Alone in
good
the Dark.
non-video game movies. So
Yeah, right. There's probably a good Alone in the Dark movie out there somewhere, right? There's probably a good Resident Evil movie out there somewhere, but they've had
they gave it to the wrong
infinite
Paul, they gave it to the
tries
wrong
and-
Paul Anderson. That's the only problem.
I want to see Paul Thomas Anderson's Resident Evil movie. That's what I want to see.
But I mean,
Rain of
there's
Frogs would be much more horrifying.
there's at least a chance, right? That
It's
that's
just
what I
Joaquin
mean, is
Phoenix
that
having an existential crisis in his apartment while the zombie apocalypse
I
is
think-
going on
I
outside.
think that given how few chances that video game or movie studios are willing to take these days, I think we're going to see more of these, and also
Yeah, probably.
eventually some darts will hit the bullseye just because there'll be a bunch of them again.
I mean, it seems like the Mario movie was like inoffensive.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Still haven't seen it, but yeah.
I wouldn't call it good. It's fine.
I don't know. I mean, there's a chance that
Actually, also heard the Sonic movies were fine.
Yeah, there's an
I
outside
didn't
chance
see
that
either
new
of those.
Silent Hill movie could be pretty decent as well.
I mean, the first one of those is fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Decent?
It's fine.
I'd say fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
fine.
It has some
I
good
heard-
stuff
didn't
in
see
It
the
was.
second
I'll,
one,
I'll
but I
say
heard it
actually,
was
it was
good.
better than I assumed it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not saying that it was
Ooh.
great, but like I had no expectations.
bar was
Like,
low,
oh,
yeah.
that was all right.
Yeah. Well, my expectations for Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City were beneath the floorboards, and it still disappointed me. So,
Not enough laser grids.
not enough of anything. It's a movie that it was a movie that decided it wanted to be Resident Evil 1 and 2 in a single movie, and it spreads all of the characters and every single plot thread so incredibly thin in a 90-minute movie, which is probably the correct length for a Resident Evil movie, but like it's just like they're trying to cram in Leon and Claire and Chris and Jill and Wesker and all of the Chief Irons stuff and like
Man, they haven't seen
and-
Chris
Wink.
lately. You can't cram that dude anywhere.
and Birkin and like all of these plot threads into a 90-minute movie and have it make sense, and it's just like no.
I'm vaporizing
that
the
doesn't-
stethoscope, and you can't stop me.
No. Yeah, so I you know I think that there's a lot of books that are probably ripe for adaptation. There's a lot of like weird comics, not the kind that are getting adapted right now.
I
But,
would.
I mean, you
if-
sort of want an adaptation, kind of like the Annihilation adaptation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Where
you
it's
do.
like-
I mean, I didn't read that book, but I really liked that
I
movie.
read the book,
Yeah.
and the movie is not the book, but it's really good. It's like if someone related the book to you like 5 years after they read it.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of how
So they
like,
they
it
kind of
was
have the
made?
gist of it. It's not all exactly right, but like it's got the spirit, it's got the tone.
Right. Yes.
Wasn't it like
Yeah.
that
I
the
read the-
director didn't read it all or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah. But I mean,
That's what I
also
read.
that director makes good movies.
he makes
Right.
good
Right,
movies,
he
right?
just makes
so
good
he started
movies,
from a good
yeah.
point.
Like
You just
somebody,
needed an idea.
I would be very interested in like an 8.
What was the thing he made
episode-
before?
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. That's right.
And he just made something else too recently. But I
That was
like
the
I would
first.
if somebody
Oh, he made
if
Men.
you told me
Men
a-
was good.
if you told
it
me
was
a
weird.
decent
I hadn't watched it. I intended to, but never got around to it.
There's some shit going on in the last fucking 10 minutes of that
Navigation
movie. Let me
mapping.
tell you. But yeah, I mean, I think actually, so I just recently heard that apparently Fox has like a completely finished and in the can animated adaptation of the first arc of Alien vs Predator comics that they're just not going to release. Like
They can write it
Disney-
off for taxes.
I guess Disney's just not going to do anything with it.
The same guy also wrote the screenplay for Dread, so he clearly understands
That's a
the
great adaptation.
genre stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Excellent adaptation.
Yeah,
there
they
was
just
talk
did-
about doing another one of those, and it didn't make any money. So, which sucks because that movie fucking ruled.
They should just get him back, get what's his
Harmon?
name back, yeah, and just have him do it again.
He just isn't he? He's Johnny Cage, isn't he? Didn't we just find that out? He's our Johnny Cage.
I did not know that.
I think that was the rumor. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was the case or not. But I don't know, like I was trying to say about 8 times.
Sorry.
Like I would I gotta hit this robot, hang on. I would like if somebody said like a decent director was like or a decent writer was putting together like a Disco Elysium 8-episode TV show, I'd watch the shit out of that.
Get what's his name?
David Lynch.
Oh my
Maybe.
god.
That's almost
no.
that's too you can't go like from a thing inspired by a guy then have him make the thing. Human Corpse ID tag. I want that. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of I think I would be more interested in smaller video game adaptations, not like
Cary Fukunaga was the guy I was trying to think of. He's
Oh,
the guy
yeah.
who shot the first True Detective series.
Yes. Yeah.
the code should be.
But didn't he also do the second one, which was not nearly as good, or did he bail for that one?
It was a different
don't recall.
director for all of those series,
I
I
thought
think,
he's-
right? Because that
I
was
thought
kind of
so.
like the point of the thing was that they were
Yeah.
gonna like not have it be.
Anthologize the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Jeremy Saulnier did the first couple episodes of the third season, but then had like a falling out with the producers or whatever, and ended up leaving the show, which is unfortunate because Jeremy Saulnier should make more stuff.
He should make way more stuff.
He should make, yeah, so much more stuff.
Aha! The code is 451. Can you believe it?
In one of these games,
I can't.
I'm trying to figure out what the aesthetic they're going for here. Is it definitely keeps the colors from the old game, which is kind of a nice touch because it's not a color scheme you see in a lot of modern games. It has like much better lighting, but like relatively basic textures, but lots of bump mapping. It's kind of like a weird half throwback look.
trying to
Kinda?
look like the game you remember, but not
Yeah.
actually that game.
Not nearly pixelated enough to be the game I remember System
hey.
Shock 1 being.
The hell was I gonna say? Oh, lost it. Hey, a melting guy. So when did Ken Levine not come into these until BioShock, or was he on the team for the
He was
first
on
two?
System Shock 2 for sure.
Yeah,
He
two,
was,
I
okay.
think. But
Also, what the hell ever happened to that guy?
he's
He
He
working
went
on-
off and made his own
he's-
studio, and then I think it imploded.
Yeah, that's
they're
right.
still working on something. Like, isn't that the narrative Legos game?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the narrative Legos game.
Yeah,
That's what they say.
that's
All right,
like, the
sure.
idea was that like you would play the game and then it would like grab like this block of story and this block of story and this block of story, right? Like they would have like several different intros, middles, and endings, and
Oh,
then you
so
could,
not
like, mix and match them, so the game was like different every time you played it.
Okay, I thought we were talking about like an actual licensed Lego game
No,
that
no,
was
no.
going to be
He
like
meant it-
this, but like
Yeah.
System Shock, but with Legos.
It's Ken Levine is making the new Legos movie game.
Yeah, right. Okay, I got it. I understand what you're saying now.
No, Vicarious Visions is doing that.
Basically like a you know, like proc gen narrative something. I don't know.
Sure. That sounds like it could either be really interesting or the worst fucking thing you ever played.
Apparently, in December, they revealed the game.
Yeah.
It's called Judas.
Yes.
Hmm.
Like it's a video game about the life and times of Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So Eric, had you played this at all before you fired this up tonight, or is this
No, I mean it just came out yesterday, I think. So
Yeah. And it's all, is it cheap? How much is
it's
it?
$40.
Oh, 40 bucks. Okay, so not full price.
No, I mean I don't know. I think like 40 is the new 25. I think. You know,
Does that mean 25 is like the new 15?
I think so. Well,
we'll
70
just have
is the
to
new
see what
60.
Silk Song comes out at, Joe?
Probably, I would guess 30, right?
I mean, I would pay 60 for Silk Song personally.
Yeah,
but I
they
feel like it's
underpriced
probably-
Hollow Knight very severely.
Well, it was like 15, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's $15.
I mean, they got like
Jeez.
they got an avalanche of Kickstarter money, right? That was
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but that's money to make the game, you know.
Yeah, but I think that's why it was priced so low. It's because they'd already, like, the game had kind of paid for itself before it came out. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I
also
would
just
pay
the
full price for Silk Song for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I would expect 30 or 40 would be reasonable. I think most people would pay that for it, given how much they love the.
Ah,
They can name
Yeah.
their price.
Although there are people on the internet who will fucking just kvetch endlessly at whatever a game is
unless it's
priced
a
at.
Nintendo.
What?
Yeah, get off me, you fuck. Fatigue.
No, I think people
high.
I see people kvetching constantly about Nintendo games and the fact they never come down in price.
I
People
guess.
definitely kvetched about the fact that Tears of the Kingdom was what is it,
70.
$70. I don't remember the numbers because everything's even more expensive here.
Probably 80. Probably 80 Canadian
Tears
or
of the Kingdom is 90.
90.
Oof.
That's what a modern AAA game costs nowadays.
Ah,
I mean, technically speaking, I guess if you get into the exchange rate, it's not. It's actually a little less than 70 American, but they don't pay me in American dollars, so.
Right.
might be in some trouble here.
Yeah, but also, Mike, you don't have to pay every time you go to the doctor past the first
was
time
gonna
in a
s-
given year.
I was gonna say, yeah.
We get one free doctor visit a year, and that's
no,
it.
no, we don't.
No?
We sure. as
Your
fuck-
insurance
we
doesn't?
absolutely do not. No, are you kidding me?
I thought pretty much even like fucking bargain basement insurance covered an annual physical.
Absolutely not, Joe. You have decent insurance. My insurance covers nothing until I spend $10,000.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, I also have a high deductible plan. It's definitely not great, but I at least get an annual physical, like, included. They don't charge me for the annual physical.
Sorry, I can't think of any good way to make fun of your shitty healthcare system that doesn't just sound kind
it's
of.
just surprising. And on top of being expensive, it's also confusing and impossible to use. So we got that
Yeah.
going for us.
Working
it's
by
really-
design.
Did you see that Brian David Gilbert put out a 30-minute video explaining terms from the healthcare system?
Yeah, I watched that. It was good.
Uh,
It was, I mean, accurate to how it is to try and. It's easier just to die, honestly. Just fucking find
It's
a corner
certainly
and
cheaper.
pass away. Yeah. What we got here? Try credit. Ooh. And Emesis bin. That's junk. These are all junk. Boy, there sure are a lot of little things here.
that sounds like a shock game.
Convulsions.
Although at least
no
in the-
response to conventional treatments. This new mystery virus has me rattled.
You stick the USB keys under your knuckle and then
Yes.
flick it off.
Uh huh. It's very good.
Hmm.
Ooh, press right click to install Biological Systems Monitor V1.
You know you want it.
Yeah. hell
Star
yeah.
Force Geo says Bioshock is great. My sister loves the series. Bioshock 1, I feel like I have Bioshock 2 on Steam. I've had it for a million years and I've never actually booted it up. And I feel like I should because I've actually heard that even though the main game is kind of just okay, the Minerva's Den DLC
Minerva's Den is
specifically is
Yeah.
like super good. So,
People
and you don't have to play the main game to understand what's going on, I guess.
Yep.
But that was made by like a totally separate team from Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite, right? Like Ken Levine had nothing to do with.
No, that's totally
Yeah.
different.
That's like me and Prey. I just want to play Moon Crash.
So good.
I don't want to play Prey at all, but maybe Moon Crash is the good part of Prey. I don't know.
It's the roguelike part.
Oh, that could be good. Do I still get jumped by chairs just walking down the hall though? Because that was
Probably.
part
I
of
don't know.
Prey
That
that
was
I
one
didn't
of the
much care
things.
for.
That was one of the things I liked about Prey.
Getting attacked by coffee cups and chairs.
Yeah.
Star Force Geo says he's thinking of picking up the PS1 port of SimCity 2000 from a local thrift store, and like I don't know, man.
And
That doesn't sound like the best way to play SimCity to me.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
it's questionable on multiple vectors, I guess.
But
I mean, I do know there is a
I was
PlayStation
gonna say
mouse.
that's probably worth something at this point, right? It's probably
Oh,
might be worth more than you pay at the thrift store. Oh shit.
that's true. Let's take a look. Let's see what SimCity 2000 is going for him.
Look at you, hacker. Is that
This is a hell of a death sequence. As a cyborg, you will serve Shodan well.
The complete in-box price of SimCity 2000 on PlayStation is about $10, according to price charting. So, also, by the way, there was a Game Boy Advance port of SimCity 2000.
the GBA? No one tell the GBA it couldn't do shit. Tony Hawk 2, go for it.
Yeah, I actually like the GBA port of Tony Hawk 2. That was a launch title. That was one of the games I got with my GBA.
I always heard it was good. It's just it's like a totally different game.
It's isometric, but it plays pretty much how you would expect it to. Definitely better than the Game Boy Color port of Tony Hawk 1, which is like not even the same, like not remotely the same thing.
I probably shouldn't have used that actually. It's a one-time.
Game's got a good sense of style, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's very pink and green and purple.
So let's see here. Also, but just to be, complete here for Star Force Geo, I would just like to say that the PlayStation mouse is compatible with SimCity 2000. So
Yeah, there's probably better ways to play SimCity. But
they're
The
definitely
ball mouse plugged into your PlayStation 1, are you sure?
I'm sure. Well, Hyperkin made a laser mouse for the Super Nintendo, right? But I guess
Did
they
they?
probably haven't done that. Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah,
When?
they made an
Like
optical mouse.
10 years ago, or?
No, like 3 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe longer than that. I don't know. About 3 years ago, time starts to dilate in a way that I'm not entirely comfortable with. But let's take a look when they put that out.
Ryan Swayze wants to know if we're going to do any more Resident Evil stream.
2017, so 6 years ago. It looks like they put out the
I mean,
Super Nintendo optical mouse.
I mean, probably it's a thing that we all have in common and talk about all the time. So
Yeah, I was gonna say we at some point we will definitely do more Resident Evil streams. I don't know how soon,
I
but
still gotta play 3 make. And I guess eventually 4 make.
yeah.
yeah.
Did you I forgot, did you finish 2 make?
Yeah, I finished 2 make. Oh, I finished 2 make once.
We'll almost certainly check out like when the Resident Evil 4 DLC comes out. I'm sure we'll
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
definitely take a look at that. I'm
Joe,
very
you
excited
gave
for
me
that.
2 make. I finished it.
I did, yeah.
For a stick mass.
Did you actually finish it? I thought you didn't quite get to the end.
No, I finished it once, and then I fired it up again as Leon and played like an hour, but then never continued.
That's good because the Leon one is way worse than the Claire one. If you're only gonna play one, you want it to be the Claire one.
Maybe if I decide to go back to it, I'll do Leon since.
Yeah, I mean it's still good, but the final boss of the Leon one is really it's the worst thing in that game. I think.
Oh.
Speaking of Deus Ex, by the way, Deus Ex Game of the Year edition is 97 cents on GOG.com right now. So
Original Deus Ex?
original Deus Ex. Human
I'm not-
Revolution is $2.99 and Mankind Divided is
Where the fuck did you
$6.74.
come from?
Good price for that, I guess.
$2.99 for Human Revolution, I feel, is definitely worth
I wonder
it.
if that game is still good, because I remember that game being so fucking cool.
Was that
Yeah.
that's the first of the new ones, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The one that we basically gave our
Homicidal
game of the
Kool-Aid
year.
Man
It has a funicular.
does have a vernacular.
It's a funicular and it has homicidal Kool-Aid Man. What more could you want?
Puts the fun in funicular.
That's right. Oh, but I came to GOG.com to look for SimCity. So if you really want to play SimCity 2000, I'm going to say that the GOG version for $6, SimCity 2000 Special Edition, that's probably the way I would go if I was going to play SimCity 2000 in this year of our Lord 2023. But that's just me.
This weird little gun.
So we fucked around with System Shock 2 it's like a
We sure
multiplayer
did.
mod thing, right? Yeah, that was
I'm still impressed we got that working.
I don't know if that's archived anywhere, but that was definitely a thing that we did.
That is the thing that we did.
No small amount of doing involved in that either.
Yeah,
We
no, that
played
was
quite a
pain in the
bit. I
ass.
think it didn't just kind of like break at some point, and
I think one of us got kicked
Yeah.
out or something and couldn't get back in, and I don't remember exactly.
We-
What's
we
the name of
streamed like
that
3 or 4 times.
software that we were using to like fake a
that
local
Hamachi?
network?
There was
Yeah,
a
there you go.
Hamachi joint. That was the same. Also, the same thing you had to do to get fucking original Risk of Rain multiplayer.
Yeah, and
working.
even then it was trash.
it's coming soon.
Coming soon. Risk of Rain with non-shitty multiplayer. Worth $15 just for non-shitty multiplayer.
What? Oh, what? Oh, Jesus! There's so many guys.
Ryan Swayze wants to know if we think nostalgia for old characters is getting overplayed in movies now. I mean, I don't. That's probably not exactly how I would phrase it. I think like this sort of sequel remake franchise thing is like it's just, I mean, I think I probably out of all four of the people here, I probably like the Marvel movies the most out of all four of us.
You
But
definitely like them more than me, and that you like
yeah,
them.
At all.
Yeah,
I like them.
There's 3 or 4 of those movies that I've liked.
Yeah, I'm usually happy enough to watch them. There's only 2 or 3 that I think are like really good. And
Yeah,
the best
I mean-
of them all is not even MCU.
well, I mean, the best of the MCU movies would have to be the best. It would have to be in the MCU, but
Right. It's not the problem isn't that those movies get made necessarily. It's just kind of like that's. I mean,
well,
like,
if
look
they,
at,
like they
look at
dominate.
this like this fucking Little Mermaid movie that just came out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have gone to the like. Oh man, you should just go on YouTube and find the songs from that movie, and you just like a part of my soul died listening to them. They're so bad. And like the songs in that original movie are like A+ across the board.
Yeah.
Basically, they're some of the best songs that have ever appeared in any movie. I would say, even kids movie notwithstanding, and the ones in the remake are just so bad. And it's just
Aren't they the same songs?
no, they're dude, you need to listen to.
Are there new
so
ones?
bad, man.
Yeah, are they
look, man,
covers?
So
or
there's
the new
a
songs?
new one by everybody's favorite guy that makes songs for movies, Lin-Manuel Miranda, right?
Of course,
There's a new thing, so he has to be involved, and it's not good.
I mean,
I'm not a big Lin-Manuel Miranda guy to begin with, and this song is one of his least good ones that I've heard.
I had a Hamilton phase, but his Disney work is not.
I was gonna say I do like Hamilton, but yeah, his Disney stuff.
The only one of the like new Disney ones that I've seen all of was Aladdin, and it's really not good.
Well, I just don't.
But this stuff is just make some new fucking movies, man. Just make a new fucking movie. You don't make a bad version of an old movie. Just make a new movie.
Right. I mean, that's the thing that's weird, right? It's like making a realistic version of the Little Mermaid.
And they're like beat for beat,
I
or at least the Aladdin one was like beat for beat, almost the same, just worse in every way and uglier. Just like why does this thing exist? I don't understand.
The thing that's cool about cartoons is they're like expressive and they're weird and and then like toning that down so it's like quote unquote realistic is like I'm not interested in that.
It exists because it makes money, and they do make money, I guess.
Yeah, they make a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah, they make all of them. The Lion King remake is one of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time. So,
really?
Yes,
that's great.
Also, that one actually like especially stuck in my craw though, because when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do the Lion King again," I was like, "Oh, great! Like this is a perfect excuse to do it like right." Well, sure, but I was like, "This is the perfect excuse to do it like the Broadway version, right? Like if you're do it like the Julie Taymor like stage version that everybody loves," and then. They were like, no, we're just going to do like realistic CG animals. And everybody refers to it as the live action Lion King. And I'm like, those weren't real lions, right? Like it's still an animated Lion King.
What?
It's just animated in a different way.
What?
Yeah, it looks like a video game cutscene instead of, yeah, I don't know. So like that. And there's just like they keep making Terminator movies for some reason. They keep making Alien movies for some reason.
I like Genesis all right.
I actually thought Dark Fate was like
pretty decent.
What was the most recent one?
I liked Dark Fate.
That was the one with the
Fate.
lady Terminator, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That one I liked. Yeah, I liked that.
That was Dark Fate. Yes.
That one was.
I would say Genesis was the one where it's like the first one over again, but then when Kyle Reese runs away from the cop is a T-1000. Whoa! And the timeline is split. What's going on, man? And then John Connor's a Terminator, and nobody went to see it, and everybody fucking hated it. That was Genesis.
Sounds like Genesis isn't.
Yes. It turned out that Skynet was an app. That was the big twist in that one.
That's
Skynet's an app on your phone.
Yeah, it was a medical access.
But yeah, like yeah, Dark Fate was like totally cromulent, but like I don't know, man. You can probably just stop making those at this point because there hasn't been like a genuinely great one since Terminator 2. And at this point where like the most of them are bad.
Whoa! Holy
Most of the
shit.
Alien movies are
I'm in
bad.
cyberspace.
Whoa. I was about 10 seconds behind.
Oh wow!
Yeah, same. Although I did also see some people like
this. Fucking
actually
rules.
yeah, this is like I have a friend who was comparing like the Evil Dead Rise to like the glut of like all these other remakes and like reboots and stuff, and I'm like,
I'm
yeah,
finally gonna go
but
see that tomorrow. So
nice. I liked it. I had fun with it. And I was just like, yeah, but dude, like there's 5 Evil Dead movies over
Right.
42 years. Like
yeah, but they're not. But they also like the big difference is that they're basically an anthology series, right?
well, especially after the third, there's like the first
Right.
3.
I mean, there's
And
like
then after
there's
that,
1, and
sure.
then 2 is kind of sort of a remake of 1, and then
Right.
Army of Darkness is a direct sequel to 2, and then the next one is like a remake retelling of the first one, and then it's something that's totally different, right? It's not.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
There's no continuity, unlike the Alien movies or the Terminator movies
Right.
or whatever.
But it's like right, but it's like on this it's like this is not a thing on the level of like the Fast and Furious or like the
Which they've
Marvel
made 10 of in
movies
20
where it's
years.
like yeah, like there's 5. They're averaging like slightly more than 1 per decade with Evil Dead movies. So
But also, you know what? Like
and also all of them are good. Like like
Well,
all of them, all 5 of them are
yeah,
good.
like I said, I haven't seen the new one.
I haven't
but
seen the latest one, but other than
I
that,
mean,
yeah.
one of them is
I'll
like
take your word for it. But
one of the 5 best movies ever made. So like
Yeah.
the rest of them don't stack up to that, but like they are still all good. You know.
Oh man, did the original System Shock have this like Forsaken stuff in it?
It definitely.
You're
Well,
playing Descent now.
Well, I would say, what if Descent, but
Or yeah,
cyber
Descent or whatever.
space.
it definitely
yeah.
had 3D cyberspace sections, but I don't. Why do you say Forsaken?
that was
Forsaken?
also like
It's the same thing, but that was the one that
that was
it
similar
was on
to
Nintendo 64, so that was the
Yeah.
one I played instead of Descent.
Night Dive also did a remaster of that apparently. So there you go.
I just
What won't they remaster?
apparently they'll remaster anything. Well, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like yeah, but I mean honestly, you could make an argument that in a better world that those 2 most recent Evil Dead movies would just be called something else. But they probably don't get made. They probably don't get
Right.
made if they're
They
not
don't get
called
made
Evil
if they
Dead.
don't, yeah.
Right. I mean, but also if you went and saw Evil Dead 2011 or whatever 2012,
You'd have been like, they totally ripped off.
you would have
Evil
just
Dead.
be like, wow, that was sure was fucking Evil Dead. Like,
Yeah, fair, I guess. But yeah, but I mean, but it still had like some fucking cool stuff in it. So
yeah, oh
I
yeah,
mean-
no,
About
I liked
mean-
that. I liked it. I liked it a
Get
lot.
the-
That's,
the rain of blood at the end.
yes, absolutely.
I was there for
And then-
everything up to that point, and I was like, all right, great.
The reimagining
down.
of the chainsaw hand and
Yeah.
how we get to that was also
Yeah.
like gnarly as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it was
But
just,
like,
I think they did a really good job of coming up with a concept to justify that movie's existence, also, right? Like the reason to go
Yeah.
to the cabin and all that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty,
and then that she's like unreliable. She's
Yeah.
like the unreliable narrator, right? Because
Yes.
well, she's
Mm-hmm.
just going through withdrawal, and so that's why she's acting this way. Like, no, turns out.
Turns out.
I
that's a whole
regret to
other thing.
inform you, you should not have read the fucking Latin out loud, my dude. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think that in some spaces, I think especially in horror, like there is a lot of original stuff that is actually getting made in
It's-
the horror area, but
the
there's a
franchising of.
I mean, they're doing
everything
both.
Is not something new.
right.
No, not at
I
all.
feel,
It's
but
just-
it
it's
feels
just-
it's gotten pretty bad.
Yes,
though.
the problem isn't that that it exists. The problem it's just that like it's the majority of stuff coming.
It's
out
the
these
same
days.
problem in the video game space in that it's the middle has been squashed,
right.
Yes, yes.
and
Safe
so
bets or nothing.
yeah,
Well, it's safe bets or cheap
or
as
random,
fucking
really
hell.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
If you
no.
can do it on a Kickstarter budget,
Whoa,
then you can do
my
whatever
mouse
you want.
My mouse is unsticking through the window, so I can't like aim. So I think I died,
Oh no.
which is too bad because that was kind of fun. I don't really know what I was trying to accomplish there, but again,
Yeah, but like, yeah, right. The franchising is like James Bond. There's been 25 fucking James Bond movies since 1962. It's not a new phenomenon.
listen, Star
but-
Force Geo has a question about Killer Instinct Gold.
These are the
Chat,
important things.
and I'm here to answer you. Yes, it is. It's terrible. Killer Instinct Gold is really fucking awful.
I mean, I don't really think that any of the Killer Instinct games are particularly good.
Yeah, but if you compare
Alex
it
was
to
here, he
Killer
could.
Instinct Gold or the Super Nintendo port of Killer Instinct or whatever, it's so much worse.
Yeah.
It's a much worse game. I mean, part of that is just like play fighting games with a Nintendo 64 controller.
Oh
No.
God.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter
no,
what it is. It's
absolutely
not
Can't
not a
make
good
me.
time, right?
I mean, there's also only like 3 fighting games on the Nintendo 64. Unless
There's
you
way
count the
more than
wrestling
3.
games.
I don't know. I think there's more than 3.
Street Fighter 63 in third.
Right.
Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
War Gods.
Oh God,
Was-
War Gods,
was
Bio
anything
Freaks.
Yeah,
Sorry,
there's a
Bio
lot, yeah,
Freaks.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Super Smash Bros.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
not a good port, unfortunately. Because I was a big
Yeah.
I loved Killer Instinct. I loved how corny it was. It was so much.
Hey,
I
Alex
thought it was
is in
so
the
much
chat.
fun.
Yes, Alex, get in the voice chat because I was.
No,
You're the
Sam, get
fighting
outta
game
here.
expert.
No, we don't want to talk to you.
I want to hear what you have to say about Killer Instinct, Alex.
He's just gonna say combo breaker.
Yeah, well, that's all there is to say, right? Man, we wore the hell out of that Killer Cut CD that came free with the Super
Hell
Nintendo
yeah, dude! I
version when
played
we were
basketball
kids.
to that like every day.
Yes,
in the driveway. It was
yes.
great.
We also played basketball in the driveway. Killer Cut CD.
Okay.
I used my Nintendo
the shared
Power
experience.
PowerPoints to get that.
Of course you did.
A friend of mine bought the game like at launch, and I think if you bought the game right when it came out, you got the CD was free with
Ah,
it.
stop! Oh, god damn it! I don't know. It's not a problem otherwise, but in these sequences, for whatever reason, the mouse just will not stay in the window.
I'm glad you all like your killer cuts, but I always enjoyed the original Mortal Kombat movie soundtrack way more.
Well, I mean, that's
Well, I mean
also-
that has like actual bands on
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, but
That's
mostly
got
it's just that one song that
KMFDM.
I want to hear.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there was before that there was Mortal Kombat the album, which was
Johnny
like
Cage.
Praga Khan from Lords of Acid did a Mortal Kombat concept record that somehow got released and sold a gazillion copies. And then, yeah, that one song ended up on the movie soundtrack. Which, I mean, of course it did. That soundtrack kicks ass, though. Like, yeah, there's the KMFDM is on there, and like a bunch of.
I don't understand what the fuck is happening in this sequence, by the way.
I don't.
He's
either.
playing
I
Descent.
mean, I guess I understand what's happening.
Well, that's
but
a
I-
decoy. Look
there's-
at my decoy.
Why
I kind of wish that
and
when you come
how
out of the
and-
cyberspace, you just see like a Descent arcade machine or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really. The thing I'm not sure of is what I'm trying to do now.
This is what I'm getting at.
Star Force Geo says, still can't believe Rare got the approval from Nintendo to show Black Orchid's Yabos as a fatality. So, first of all, I'd like to say I haven't heard the word Yabos as a euphemism for breasts in quite some time. So, thanks for that.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, like, they don't, so you, I mean, the audience doesn't see them. She just opens her shirt. Also, are her, like, that, I always wondered, are they her breasts? Are you dying of horny from seeing Black Orchid's boobs? Or, like, is
I was
something
close
else
a couple
going
times
on?
when I was 15, probably.
Mm-hmm. Or is it like,
I
is
like
it that
I like a
she's-
lady.
like, there's
the
a,
squarer the boobs, the better. That's all I have to say about
so
it.
you're a big Laura Croft fan, of
No,
course.
those are triangles. That's
those are
not as-
triangles,
That is an
yeah.
inferior.
It's more of it's a wedge, actually. They're not triangles, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
one.
right.
They're one that's a wedge all the way
pyramid.
across.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
chalk the wheels of a plane with.
That's great.
Laura's,
Yeah, that's right. And she do.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
thematically appropriate if they're a pyramid, you know?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of pyramids,
yeah,
you guys excited
but that
for
was
that
also
new Indiana Jones movie?
I-
Speaking
so
of fucking the corpse,
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
right.
yeah,
great franchise.
so no, but I actually read I read impressions from South by Southwest or whatever, wherever it like premiered, and actually people were saying that it's pretty good.
I would want to know these people's reaction to Crystal Skull before I believe
Yeah,
them.
right.
I guess I
right.
finished
mean,
it. I don't know what I got out of that, but
you hacked the
A
thing,
mind
Eric. Good
trip.
job.
I sold some
I just-
life when I went through the thing. So
I just think Harrison Ford deserves to be happy after
Yeah.
40 years of
He's-
putting up with Star Wars nerds.
he's given us so
Yes.
much.
But I mean,
True.
is he really that happy doing that at
He
this
seems
point?
to love
He
Indiana
seems to
Jones.
love
He
Indiana
seems
Jones,
super
yeah.
cranky no matter what these
I mean,
days.
he is-
Doesn't he like own like a stake in that?
Probably.
Because I think he's like blocked them like just making Indiana Jones stuff without him.
Yeah, I mean that seems possible.
No Harrison, no deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also like I don't want. I mean I don't. Who wants that? Who wants Indiana Jones without Harrison?
I mean, it's
Ford?
that when he dies, they're definitely going to remake it, right?
I
it's
mean,
gonna be
unless he
bad,
has, like an MCA style clause in his like will that says they can't, right? Because that's the beast. That's why there are no Beastie Boys songs in commercials generally, right? Is that
There've been a lot of Beastie Boys things and things recently.
in things, but I don't
I guess
think
not
in.
in
I think
commercials, maybe.
in yeah, I think that was the thing. His part of his will was like he would never like. There's no approval for commercial stuff. You'll never see the Beastie Boys in like a sneaker ad or something.
Until
Yeah, until
they give
Whatever,
a lot
I
of
mean-
money.
I mean,
To
Mads
his
Mikkelsen
widow
is
or
in it,
whatever.
so that's more interesting all of a sudden.
right.
Can I just save? I should probably do a. There we go. Because I've actually made some progress now, so it'd be a shame if I died to these jerks with the guns. There was something.
So yes, MCA's will prohibits the use of Beastie Boys songs in advertisements.
That's pretty sweet.
His wife is allowed the right to sell and or manage his art. But apparently the two, yeah. So Mike D and Ad Rock like have enough control that they can.
They can override
I don't
his
know. I
will from beyond the
Yeah.
grave, or
Yeah, I mean because there's two of them and one of him, so apparently like there is a way that they can override it. Apparently they let sabotage be used in a commercial for Destiny 2.
a commercial or a trailer?
Yeah, well, 2 minute mix of cinematic action and winking humor.
Okay.
And they gave their blood. They watched the ad before they approved it, and then they personally, I guess, approved it. So, but yeah, so I don't. I mean, like I don't know. Like that's maybe. Maybe Harrison Ford will end up with a similar deal for Indiana Jones, but I mean, again, that's the thing where it's just like I don't like I mean, they tried it once, right? Like, and Sean Patrick Flannery was just no Harrison Ford, right? Nobody went for it. Like, and I just like, who want like nobody wants that. Nobody wants Indiana Jones without Harrison Ford.
Just make a new thing that's kind of like Indiana Jones.
Right. Make an Uncharted movie that
Because
doesn't
that's
suck
what I mean.
ass.
Indiana Jones isn't like was a new
Right,
thing. It
it
was
was-
kind of like
yeah.
things that already existed. So just
Right. And yeah, Indiana Jones was just remaking like Zorro and, what a bunch of those like the 1930s and 40s like serials, So
I don't know. It's hard to make new things.
I mean, it is, but people did it for a long time. People still do it. I mean, again, that's the thing. Like, people still do it. It's just you have to do it for no money and prove that it's prove that it's something worth doing, and then they'll just make $1 million of that thing. Like, I just saw today that Terrifier 3 is apparently in production, which, I mean, horror has a long and grand tradition of franchising, obviously, so I guess it's hard to be upset about that, but it's like, this little movie with a tiny budget came out of nowhere and was basically just praised because it's like a super fucking gory slasher movie, which we don't really get that many straight up just like slasher movies anymore. And then Terrifier 2 came out last year and made however many millions of dollars on like a $250,000 budget, and now they're making a third one, and they'll probably just keep making those for a good long while. So make something cheap that's original, and then it can get beaten into the ground. Yeah,
You can live the dream.
that's right. I mean, but also if I was the guy who made the Terrifier movies, I'd probably be quite happy with the piles of money that are rolling up to my door now. So
Yeah, but he's a sellout. He has no integrity.
I mean, I don't know. I heard that in the second
feel
one,
like-
you see someone get split from like crotch to the head.
I feel
in,
like it's
one
time
shot,
to go back to the early '90s when people made fun of people for selling out. I think it's time to return to that. I think that people are like feel no shame about selling out now, and I think that's bad. I think that people should feel bad about themselves more. That's my official stance on this.
I think people should get paid.
I mean, they should get paid, but they should have some fucking integrity about it. How's that sound?
They should be guilty about the fact that they got paid.
They should be MCA from the Beastie Boys, is what you're saying.
They shouldn't try and get paid an infinite amount of money in perpetuity for not doing anything interesting.
Yes, agreed. Alex, tell me about Killer Instinct.
Kicks ass, dude.
It's a fighting game.
There's a
What do you want?
skeleton. There's
Yeah,
a-
man, it's Spinal, dude. That guy's great.
That dude is great.
Were those games ever good? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they're white people fighting games, so like you.
Wow.
They're what? That's what people. That's like
What
what,
does
it's
that
called.
mean?
It means they're games that were not made by like Japanese developers.
Oh,
That's what it sounds like. Hey, you know what I appreciate really quickly about this game is that the EKG actually looks like what an EKG looks like. So many games don't do that.
Ouch.
It's not 100% accurate, but it's like close. I mean, it could be. It's just, the QRS is a little like not.
I mean, it's the
Right.
future, Alex. Maybe they've made some upgrades.
Oh, true. I'm just like, look, there's P, there's T, all of them are there, all the classics. But yeah, what do you want to know about Killer Instinct? It's like white people fighting games are like Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct. Those are the big ones,
fighting
really.
games.
But
fun fighting games.
I mean, they're like, I don't know. They're just like
All of that.
people have always like they are fun, but like people have always been like, oh, but they're not like serious. They're not.
Yeah,
Like, good.
I don't know. That's just because it's white people doesn't mean you can't be a little bit racist. I guess.
It's also like, so like the people who do like those games have like a weird chip on their shoulder about it and get really like, like what's happening here in the game?
That's what happens when you die.
What's that?
That's
A
what
heck of a
happens when you die.
sequence.
Yeah. As a cyborg, you will serve Shodan well.
Star
All
Force
right,
Gia says Black Orchid is African Asian, Alex. So suck on that.
Okay.
There you go.
What's that have to do with anything?
It's not a white people fighting game.
It was made by white people, not that all the people in it are white.
Do you know for certain that there were no people of color on the team at Rare who made any of
Yeah,
they
it is
were
a weird
British.
term.
made or make any of those games?
It's a British fighting game.
You
How's
could
that?
just say Western.
Yeah,
and
there's
not be racist about it.
there's no non-white people in Britain. That's definitely the case.
No, definitely. Yeah. All right, look, hang on.
That's why they had to go subjugate everybody else, because they didn't have any local people.
They were tired of all the bland food.
Uh-huh. You gotta go out and find something spicy.
We gotta go colonize India so we can have good food.
And they still didn't.
So we can make blander versions of their food.
Yeah, so we can make shittier versions of their food.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Killer Instinct, like well, I say new, it's like 10 years old now or whatever.
Yeah.
The last version of Killer Instinct came out, and like
The one by Iron
a
Galaxy?
certain type of fighting game player liked it.
Yeah, a lot of people liked that.
Yeah, it was popular for a bit.
Wow.
Alex
So much
definitely
shade.
throwing shade. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a certain kind of
A
fighting
certain
game
type
player.
of shitty fighting game.
A certain
player
kind of
I mean,
unrefined,
doesn't know shit about what's
fucking
good.
plebeian,
like that
bitch
bullshit.
ass fighting game player.
It's just not the kind of game that I like, but that's fine because other people did. So, they
So
can
on
play
the
that.
scale of 0 to anime, it was 0.
Here's
Oh,
the
that
thing.
is. Yeah.
There's plenty of bad fighting games that came out of Japan as well. So
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot. There's a fuckload, in fact.
Modern fighting games are weird because it's like, well, really, I could have just ended the sentence there.
yeah, I mean,
I was wondering
But
what else.
But I'm not sure
what else
that
there was to
Japan.
say.
I don't know that Japan ever made anything as bad as Tattoo Assassins. So there's that.
This is not a thing I've ever heard of.
Oh, buddy. Oh,
It's pretty
buddy.
There's so many like old bad fighting games that were trying to cash in on like Mortal Kombat that like it's just.
Naughty Dog even made one.
Yeah.
Was that Way of the
Yeah,
Warrior?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah. But there's so
And
many. That was an entire genre unto itself for
Yes. Shitty Mortal Kombat.
Naughty Dog
ripoffs
fighting
was
game.
its own.
a minute. Yes, Naughty
Yes.
Dog fighting game.
Wow, I
no,
did not
shitty
realize that.
Mortal Kombat like cash in
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
Yeah, shitty Mortal Kombats.
But yeah, I don't know. They just have like a different feel, like Killer Instinct does, and like Mortal Kombat is kind of different. Mortal Kombat's kind of different even within like its own games, you know.
well,
Although
they've,
they've
Modern
kind
ones
of.
are way different than 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, for sure, yeah, absolutely. But I'm just even talking about the more recent like ones, like in the past, like I'd say like 10, because
Well,
they've been
since-
making those
since
games
Mortal
pretty
Kombat-
consistently.
yeah, since
9,
Mortal
10,
Kombat
11.
and- yeah.
Yeah, like 9 is different from 10 but is different from 11, but sort of with like the Injustice and then like
Oh, yeah. and then they did,
Mortal
the two
Kombat kind
Injustice.
of like combo there. They kind of solidified sort of like what a Nether NRS game is, like NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of got like a like unified feel for the most part. But Killer Instinct was kind of just like its own thing because like Killer Instinct 1 and 2 aren't. It isn't what the newest one was like. I don't know. I didn't play enough of it to really comment too much because I was just kind of like, no, this looks stupid. Like it looks like visually.
Well, I
it looks
remember
stupid.
like the thing wasn't the thing that you had to buy characters individually.
They
Like
did do a like, yeah, it's like
Talking
you
about,
get like
Killer
Kago
Instinct.
and somebody
Well,
Yeah.
Killer
else.
Instinct was
Card.
it was yeah. Microsoft was
Yeah,
trying
it's
to do a
free.
different model with that, where it was
Yeah.
where it was the game was free, and then they would like rotate characters, kind of like you would in a League of
Like a League of
Legends
Legends,
style
yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
That doesn't really work for fighting games though.
No, it's it was a bad idea because that just meant that like if you wanted to play as the character you liked, you had to pay, and like rotating through is a bad idea because then you don't get to spend enough time with those characters to learn how they work. So
I could have seen the justification of that being more that most people don't play all the characters or whatever. They they main 1 or 2, and so why
Yeah, but
pay
you
for all
have
of them?
to-
Here, you can have these 2 and just
Yeah.
pay for that. And
you have to
then-
play. You have to play as a bunch of them to figure out which one you do like to play. Right. That's the
Yeah,
problem
there's
with
that
that
too.
model is like, especially when it's a sequel to a game from 20 years ago, right? Where it's like, well, I don't like just because I liked playing as Glacier in Killer Instinct 2 doesn't mean I'm gonna like
Glacius,
playing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
fitting.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Alex,
I
can
will
you-
not stand for
Alex, can you
this.
fucking believe this guy?
I can't.
No, I'm talking about WCW superstar Glacier, who's a hidden character, and you guys just don't know.
Oh shit! I didn't know this. Okay, I apologize.
These
It's
Canadians.
actually it's not Glacier. It's actually Ice Train. Is the
Well,
main super
It's
character.
Glossier.
yeah, he's French.
Yeah.
God, Killer Instinct was so extremely 90s. I'm looking
It
at the like
was.
new.
Was
It was.
extremely.
No,
I
I'm
don't
just
know, I don't
looking
know what
at,
you're talking about. All the Mountain Dew cross sponsorship didn't mean anything.
Well, it's just like I'm looking
Well,
at the redesigned
1,000% sure that those
versions.
games do not hold up in any way, but
Oh no, for sure. But I just like I'm looking at the redesigns of them in the more recent one, and I'm like, God, this looks terrible. This looks so bad.
no.
Which for me, it's like a fighting game should look good. Fighting games need
Yeah.
to look good. That's a part of it. And this just like is ugly. I mean, it's like it moves. The designs are ugly.
I mean, that
It's
was
not,
part of
like-
the reason why the Street Fighter V was kind of a failure, right? It's like people just hated
I mean,
and then
well-
it never really
well,
made a comeback from there.
If you would like to know about the history of Street Fighter
No, we
V,
don't have to go over, we don't have to go over all of it. That game is also
Point of order,
That
sir.
game is also fucking ugly.
yeah, a lot of people. Fucking Ken has banana hair. Everybody, that was like the meme,
Yeah,
like right out of the
Ken's
gate.
banana hair.
Yeah. But those days are over. The new days are upon us.
It's a new
Tomorrow,
day.
9
Yes, it
p.m.
is.
9 p.m. Pacific.
I mean, that's weird though, because like Street Fighter 4, I mean, I would have preferred it be like sprite based, but nobody is doing that anymore. So
That's just done. Yeah.
that's just done. So, but for it being like a 2.5D game, Street Fighter 4 looked good. It like felt like it had an actual cohesive art style behind it. The
Six looks really good.
brushstroke stuff was
it,
really cool.
It looks really good. The whole like paint splash thing they've got going on when you do Drive Rush and you like counter people and stuff, like it looks really cool. And it's just like the character models are good, the backgrounds are good, like there's lots of detail, like it's really good. It's really good. Maybe not like, I don't know, the best of all time or anything. You know what's funny is I actually went back pretty recently and played Tekken 7 just to fuck around. And
That game's
like I
good,
hadn't
man.
played
Find
it in
out?
a while. I was just fucking around in training room, so I didn't really find out too much.
Okay.
But
People liked that game a whole lot.
I like that game. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole thing is like if you're gonna play Tekken, like that's your life. You play Tekken. Like you don't play other stuff.
You're like
You,
some kind of monk.
Yeah, kind of. Because it's so the thing about Tekken is far and away like the deepest fighting game. There's so much shit to learn. Which is what's cool about it, but it's also like what can be exhausting about it if you're actually trying to like get
I feel like it
good.
backed into that distinction because Sega just stopped making Virtua Fighter games, because that was always the thing. People would be like,
Yeah.
Tekken's like checkers compared to Virtua Fighter's chess,
Well,
and I was like, yeah, but Virtua Fighter's boring and Tekken is fun. So
Virtua
rules.
Fighter fans are people who I just like straight up. I'm just like, I don't understand you, and I will never understand you. So that's just how it is, you know. Like,
yep.
I mean, they
Yep.
like it. That's fine. That's good for them. They can have it. Like, you know,
Oh yeah,
man.
no, sure, yeah, have at it.
live your life, do your thing. You know.
Yeah, agreed, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, I played Tekken 7, and
Yeah.
that game looked great at the time. And now on my new, it's a few months old now, but new computer, that game looks like shit. I mean, it looks as good as it can, but like on my computer. But it's like, damn, this game really is from like 2014 or whenever it is from. It's like, holy shit.
I
don't
mean,
know
I
when they're
appreciate
made.
that Namco has gotten to the point though where they only make one of those once every 8 or 10 years or whatever now. 'cause-
It's 2015. Okay. Tekken 8 looks incredible though.
8 years.
Holy shit. I don't know if anybody's seen the trailers for that. That game looks fucking nuts. Looks
Yeah.
so good.
Oh boy.
Oh, bro, you playing Pipe Dream? What's going on?
I didn't realize it. Boy, this is a crazy way to make a puzzle. Holy shit. I did it!
Guess you should have picked 1 star.
I'm the best. Do I know what that did? Not a clue.
No idea. Did something.
Sure.
Is this fun?
I mean, kind of, in the way that like just nobody makes games like this anymore. And in the modern version of this game, it would show you where to go, and
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
just
a
never
game like
played-
this is maybe more fun if you don't have like 4 chuckleheads yelling in your ear while you're
yeah.
trying
Also,
to play
you
it.
really
Yeah,
need
well,
to pay
that's true.
attention and like read all the logs and stuff, and that's not happening at the moment. But
Yeah, I just never played System Shock when it came out, and then I forgot they were doing a remake, and there's other shit going on, so
Well,
I'm just
you know
gonna
why you didn't
continue
play
to
it when
not
it
play
came
it.
out? Because it came out in 1994.
You weren't born.
Yeah.
I was born.
I
Thank
say
you.
Alex isn't that much younger than
I was playing Doom 2 in 1994. Is what I was doing on my computer.
I was definitely playing Doom 2 in 1994 on my computer for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
For
What's that
sure.
other-
Yep.
wasn't there. Where was that
When
other
did Duke
puzzle
Nukem 3D come out?
Probably like
Before that.
95, 96, maybe 93.
that
I don't know.
late?
Let's. I don't. I
No,
don't know.
wait, no,
1996.
I would
1996.
say after Doom 2 for sure.
Oh,
Oh, I have to
For
have a-
sure.
I have to have a logic probe.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't play Duke Nukem till later, so. And I was like, this is like Doom but shitty.
I mean, it's not though. It's
It's
not
not,
as good
it's
as
not.
Doom. It's not as good as Doom.
can
for
flush your
sure.
It's
toilets,
like
so-
fine. I don't
You can
know.
flush the toilets. That is true.
It's not all bad. Boy.
Now you're playing Pipe Dream. Damn.
96.
Yeah.
I said that. Jeez.
For what was that?
Confirmed.
Kurt takes a trust but verify attitude to anything Alex says.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Hard to blame you, really.
What were you talking? What came out in '96?
Duke Nukem
Nukem
3D.
3D.
Oh, guys, remember when they put that one out on PlayStation, and then you could call that sex number, and then you'd go like, "Is that you, Laura?" Because he's been playing Lara Croft. That was pretty funny, right?
Her.
Yeah. Was that Next Generation that did the recreated the Janet Jackson Rolling Stone cover with Duke Nukem and Lara Croft? Is that a Next Generation?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? Do you remember what I'm
I
talking
remember
about?
what you're
though?
talking about. Yeah, it was probably.
Happily, I don't.
Sounds like them. That sounds like something they would do. Oh, hi. Where'd you come from? I guess
Yes,
must
it
be-
how
was,
goofy
it was,
these
yes,
guys
it was
look.
Next Gen
They
magazine.
look very silly. Ah, shit. I don't have any. Fuck you, dude. I guess must be solving that puzzle opened up this other.
Air Force Geo wants to know if there will be a same name different game for Wolfenstein 3D.
Oh, buddy. You're asking for a lot.
they know not what they ask.
Yeah, I mean maybe. Look, there's a lot of games that qualify.
I like how
for
this guy
inclusion
looks
on
like
the show. So.
This kind of enemy just looks like he's coming to speak to your manager.
This is the Karen monster.
Yeah, exactly.
ET
Sorry,
on
go ahead.
steroids.
Yeah, apparently February 2001, which seems like a little late for the general relevance of both Duke Nukem and Lara Croft, but apparently that was when Next Gen did that cover. So
That's probably when they were claiming that they were going to have the new one out.
yeah, right.
Well, no, there was a new. It was like a third-person action game that came out on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
forgot about
But
that.
not in 2001, was it? That was Time to Kill, right? That was before that, wasn't it?
Well,
Because
internet.
Well, no, I'm talking
the
about the. I was
PS2
talking about the Duke Nukem game.
Right,
Not
yeah,
the-
that's
not
what I'm
the
saying.
cover
Duke
you were
Nukem Time to
talking about.
Kill.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
98.
There you go.
yeah.
They never really stopped making Tomb Raider games, did they? Didn't they just kind of make them every couple
There's
years
been-
forever?
There've been
There
some
was a-
like
There was a gap
breaks,
between
but-
the core and the Crystal Dynamics stuff, but
Yeah, yes. I was going to say there was a gap in there, but since then, maybe not
I love
so
the way
much.
you heal. Put that little thing on your arm. It's good.
Is it compact?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I feel like this game's got some good style.
Yeah. I mean, when it just turned into Descent, that was pretty dope. I don't know what's going on, but ooh, Snacktron.
What's that shit
Next
open?
Must feed you.
You guys
healthy
probably couldn't
snack.
hear it, But when I walked up to it, the computer like salesman voice goes, "The Snackotron recommends Snack Bite 1." So I don't know. I enjoyed that.
So until Shadow of the Tomb Raider, there wasn't more than about 3 years in between any particular game.
Oh no, I made Kurt's trust but verify list.
I mean, it's been a while.
Oh, I
since
was
we've had
curious. Yeah.
It's been like this,
2018 was Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
right. This might be one of the longest gaps, right? Since the
There's apparently an iOS Android game that came out
well,
this
Tomb Raider
year.
Go, right? Oh, this
Tomb
year.
Raider
Okay.
Reloaded. No.
Oh,
Tomb Raider Go is from
that's from a long time ago.
like 10
yeah.
years ago.
That
at
was
this
more
point.
puzzly. This is apparently an action game. Yeah, Tomb Raider Go came out in 2015.
Apparently, at this point, they only make iPhone games for
Lara
Apple
Croft
Arcade,
Go.
basically. Like, no one makes a decent game for the phone unless it's going to be on Apple Arcade.
Well, I mean, those games only sold like 6 million copies, which was a huge disappointment to Square Enix, as I'm given to understand. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Just again, that's such a lofty sales target. I don't know where you pull those numbers from that you think that that's reasonable. That any game, and
Yeah,
any game that
they want
comes out,
Call
that
of
you would
Duty
think would
numbers,
sell.
man. They want fucking Grand Theft Auto 5 numbers.
Right.
Mario Kart
yes.
numbers.
I
Anything
mean,
less
I'm
is a
saying
nice to
failure.
want
that
things.
is insane. Yeah, right.
Right.
It's cute to want things.
As of December 2021, the game has sold 8.9 million copies.
What's
Yeah,
that
get
the
fucked,
most
By the end of
recent one?
2018, 4 million. So
Yeah, see, that's not nearly enough. Ooh, I found like the Art Deco area.
Oh, you wandered into BioShock.
Yeah, kind of. Look at these plants. Oh, there's a very ominous whirring going on.
So apparently, this issue of Next Gen was the sex and violence issue of Next Gen. But again, seems weird that in 2001 you would put Lara Croft and Duke Nukem on the cover
Was
of
that
a
the-
magazine.
What was the? Because like, the Dreamcast one was supposed to be like the big comeback for Lara Croft. Remember? But
No, I don't remember
Yeah.
it being a
Is it
Dreamcast
called-
Tomb Raider game at all.
Angel of
Chronicle.
Darkness.
No, that was on PS2, wasn't
Was
it?
it
I thought
PS2
Tomb
one?
Raider Chronicle was the Dreamcast one, or something like that.
Ah. Oh shit.
Well, let's take a look.
Tomb Raider Chronicles did come out on Dreamcast, PlayStation, Windows, Mac OS. It's the same year as. Oh, that's a Game Boy Color game. That's also a Game Boy Color game.
Do I need to make some more scrap? Is that what the problem is?
Star Force Geo is heading out by.
Good night.
Probably already gone.
Hey.
But if not, bye.
Ooh, what did I get? I got some try credits. I don't know what that does, but good for me. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up anyways.
Yeah.
I actually might restart this so we can pay a little closer attention. But this seems pretty neat, actually.
It does,
Like,
yeah.
this kind of seems like maybe like an ideal situation for this kind of thing. Outside of maybe like really reimagining it. Maybe not as scary as those games were considered back in the day, but I don't know.
I didn't play enough of System Shock 1 to know if it was very scary. I mean, I was a big wuss, so probably would have scared me. Mostly what was scary about it was the controls, because it was one of those games where you could look and turn and lean in every direction, but you're doing it all on a PC number pad.
Mm-hmm.
and you probably didn't even have mouse look enabled.
Yeah, anything pre-mouse look is kind of off the table for me.
I mean, in those old games, it was always an option, but it wasn't standardized, and people didn't really know how to use it.
Right. I mean,
I had to learn mouse look to play like Quake after several months of playing Quake as a keyboard game.
yeah. Yeah, but if you've never developed those skills, it's really, really hard to go back to. Or even a lot of times it doesn't feel right. You know, like the dead zone and all that shit is just not.
Yeah, it wasn't well tweaked.
Yeah.
Because again, the mouse was just for sickos who were probably playing with a trackball or something.
Yeah. There was a game called Arx Fatalis.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know if any of you guys ever played, but that game you could kind of like hack on some mouse control, and I did that. But it was definitely like I never finished that game because I could not figure out how to make it control in a way that didn't feel awful to me. But that game is it's a really cool like first person exploration thing. And I can't remember who made it, but whoever made it.
Arcane Studios.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say Arcane made it because Rafael Colantonio was
Yes.
the designer on it.
But when
The sun has vanished. Now evil has been summoned.
you go back to that and you can see like, you know, how they go from that to, you know, Deathloop and Dishonored 2, and like the intricacy of the level design and stuff was there then, even though it that's one of those games where like you kind of like you have a sword, but it's like much worse than even like the old Morrowind or Elder Scrolls games as far as like trying to hit things. Anyway, I'm gonna save this, and I think we'll call it a night here. But
Yep.
this seems pretty good for $40. You get to explore
That's like
a
$25.
spooky space station, and
Yep.
I don't know. This is a thing that I've just kind of always been curious about. So, look at all these skulls. It's a lot of skulls.
So many skulls.
$40 for at least 40 skulls. You can't.
Please.
You really get a bulk discount there.
Yeah. Look at all these pipes. I don't know. It's pipes and skulls.
You heard it here first, folks. Pipes and skulls.
$40 worth of pipes and skulls.
$40. Pipes and skulls.
All right. Good night.